The Caterham CSR marked a significant evolution for the Kent-based company when it debuted 20 years ago. Wider than the standard Caterham 7 and equipped with independent suspension all around, featuring push rods at the front, it was a larger, smoother riding, and more refined version of the classic car. It was faster, more capable, and simultaneously more comfortable. However, British buyers ultimately favored the more traditional and minimalist Series 3/7, shunning the CSR's upscale, interior, and aerodynamic styling. As a result, the CSR was discontinued in the UK, but remained available in mainland Europe, where it met regulations the traditional 7 could not. Now, after 2 decades, the CSR's journey is coming to an end. To commemorate its farewell, Caterham is releasing a limited edition CSR 20, with only 20 units available exclusively in the UK. But is the CSR still a more mature and well-rounded Caterham? Testing one in early December, amid wet and cold conditions, might not seem ideal, but here we are. A typical Caterham 7, excluding the ultra-compact, K-Car compliant 7-170, measures 3,180 millimeters in length and 1,470 millimeters in width. Opting for a large chassis variant of the standard 7 provides extra space, bringing it closer to the CSR's dimensions of 3,360 millimeters long and 1,700 millimeters wide. The CSR's proportions give it a slightly unconventional appearance compared to the regular 7, and its unique details demand a second glance. For those unfamiliar with the intricacies of the 7, the CSR might almost appear to be a replica. It retains the Caterham essence, but with subtle differences. Its wider body, more aerodynamic front wings, and increased ventilation for airflow. Notably, the front springs are not visible. They are mounted inboard and operated via pushrods. This test car's carbon fiber front wings are sculpted to minimize lift, while the aerodynamically profiled front wishbones aim to improve efficiency. Enhancing the aerodynamics of a Caterham 7 might seem as ambitious as trying to insulate Blenheim Palace with secondary glazing, but every little improvement counts. The standout mechanical feature of the CSR is its fully independent double wishbone rear suspension, replacing the semi-independent Dion setup found in standard 7s. While these components are hidden from view, their impact on ride quality is significant, delivering better grip and traction. Though even they struggle with the wet, wintry conditions of Wales in December. This challenge is exacerbated by the CSR's Toyo Prox R888R tires, which are not known for their wet weather performance. When the CSR debuted, it was powered by a 260 brake horsepower, 2.3-liter Ford engine tuned by Cosworth. Today, due to limited engine availability, it's equipped with a 210 brake horsepower, 150 lb FT, 2.0-liter Ford Duratec engine paired with a 5-speed Mazda MX-5 gearbox. While a limited slip differential is available as an option, the test car doesn't have one, as Caterham opted for the quieter standard differential to align with the CSR's slightly more refined positioning. Unlike some other Caterham models, the CSR is available only as a factory-built car, with no self-assembly option. Historically one of the pricier 7s, the final edition CSR 20 now starts at a hefty £79,995, over twice the original launch price. Still, for enthusiasts, it represents a slice of Caterham history. Caterham emphasizes the interior upgrades in the CSR 20, which include new materials and finishes. However, as with the aerodynamic tweaks, luxury is a relative term here. It remains a 7 interior, compact and minimalistic. The seats are pleasantly soft to the touch, and there are carpets along with a cushioned leather finish on the center console, accented by Alcantara details and a numbered plaque. The dashboard features satin-finished carbon fiber, adding a touch of modernity. For those seeking more space, the CSR's larger body is a blessing. It's designed to accommodate taller or broader drivers, offering a roomier pedal box. In fact, the pedal spacing proved almost too generous for my size 8 feet in narrow trainers, making heel and toe shifting a bit of a challenge. It's a functional interior, with a small non-adjustable steering leather Momo steering wheel, perhaps the shortest gearshift throw in production, and simple dials and toggle switches. There's a heater and a 12V socket, and despite the suspension design, there's still a boot mohair line. I don't think anybody will think that the hood itself is plush. Magazines were complaining about the popper fastenings when I was a kid, and the 7 still uses them now. Today, a 7's hood pulls tighter than ones of old and stays mercifully dry too, but it's a bind to put up and down. Lotus showed how to do a hood with the Elise. Still, there's a heated windscreen to keep misting at bay. You can reach all of the other windows with a cloth to demist those too, so it's not unpleasant to drive, even on a rainy winter's evening. Note that the mirrors are attached to the doors and you can't adjust them when you're inside the car, though. 4-point harnesses are standard, with all the security, but faffing they entail too. And because you sit so low, you'll swear that anything taller than a Nissan Qashqai has its main beams up given how dazzling headlights are in the mirrors. Maybe you'd fit tinted film over them. This 2.0-liter engine tune is the same as from the Caterham 7 420 model, and is a combo that hasn't been offered in the CSR chassis before. Continental CSRs were previously running with the 485 model's higher revving 225 brake horsepower engine. But if you think that having only 210 brake horsepower at 7,600 RPM or 150 pounds FT at 6,300 RPM is a downgrade, remember this is a car that still only weighs 620 kilograms, and it is one of the slickest, sharpest manual gear shifts in production. Caterham claims a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 3.9 seconds and a top speed of 136 miles per hour. Those power and torque figures arrive at relatively high revs, so get up it, work the gears, and it's extremely urgent. At low revs, it's still responsive and linear, but at one point I did leave it in 4th gear for an overtake of a truck, and about 3 seconds later decided 3rd gear might have been more advisable. But in conditions like our test, it doesn't pay to be too liberal with the throttle band, because the 7 can and will break traction despite the softer suspension that wants to keep the wheels attached to asphalt more consistently than a regular 7. But we'll come on to that. The gearbox is a thing of wonder in this age too. The standard MX-5 shift is already great because Mazda engineers have documents the size of novels that dictate how quick and easy a gear change ought to be. A Caterham wouldn't pass Mazda's guidelines, you suspect, because it's too heavy, given the lever is much shorter. But you can bet your life there are Japanese engineers who spend their weekend mornings driving around mountain passes, enjoying the short, heavy, and wonderfully precise throw of their own 7s. If there is an issue, it's that there's some backlash in the driveline as you throttle off or on at low speeds, and for all that it had an apparently quieter open differential, it still whined a bit. Pedal weights are all terrific, medium heavy and consistent, with brake pressure that's simple to lean against. If your feet don't miss the throttle on downshifts like my relatively small plates do, we were extremely complimentary about the ride of the CSR.